What if I told you Idaho hides one of the deepest canyons in North America, deeper than the Grand Canyon? What if I told you a sleeping supervolcano once blasted ash across half the continent and its scar still burns beneath Idaho's feet today? What if I told you there is a forest buried under glass, mountains that explode sideways, a river so wild it is practically alive, and a region so warped by ancient lava that astronauts trained there for the moon landing? Idaho is not potatoes. Idaho is chaos. So buckle up, because these are 50 insane facts about Idaho few people know. Beneath Idaho lies the scar of a monster, the Yellowstone hotspot. But here is the twist. Yellowstone did not start in Wyoming. It started in Idaho. As the North American plate drifted southwest, the hotspot burned a trail across the state like a blowtorch carving through butter. Every few million years it unleashed. Idaho saw eruptions thousands of times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. The Snake River Plain, the giant arc slicing across the state, is literally a burn mark 40 million years long. Idaho is the birthplace of the supervolcano that once nearly wiped out North America. Fact 49, the canyon that laughs at the Grand Canyon. Everyone knows the Grand Canyon. Almost no one knows Idaho has one deeper. Hell's Canyon plunges 7,993 feet from rim to river, almost 2,000 feet deeper than the Grand Canyon. This thing wasn't carved, it was devoured. Floods, lava, and tectonic chaos sculpted a trench so monstrous that even modern roads avoid the canyon. Most of it is still unreachable wilderness. Idaho owns America's deepest canyon, and hardly anyone realizes it. The Salmon River, nicknamed the River of No Return, is one of the last truly wild rivers in the lower 48. Its whitewater is so violent, early explorers were swept backwards upstream, even today. Huge stretches are undammed, undiverted, untamed. It cuts through the biggest roadless area in the United States outside Alaska. Its geography is so savage that the river decides everything. You don't control it, you survive it. Idaho has a place so bizarre, so black, so scarred by lava. NASA used it. Craters of the Moon National Monument looks like another planet. Twisted basalt, collapsed lava tubes, cinder cones, frozen rivers of fire, and an eerie silence that feels off-world. Astronauts literally walked here pretending it was the moon, because visually, it is not far off. Most people think Idaho is calm. Idaho is earthquake country. The Basin and Range Province, the same geologic chaos that splits Nevada, slices deep into southern Idaho. Faults stretch, crack, and pull the land apart, inch by inch. In 1983, the Bora Peak earthquake was a magnitude of 6.9, and it lifted an entire mountain 7 feet in seconds. The earth didn't shake, it jumped. Bora Peak, Idaho's highest point at 12,662 feet, isn't done. It's literally rising. Tectonic stretching forces push it upward, sometimes violently, for example during the 1983 quake. It's one of the few peaks in America that grows in geological real time. Mountains usually erode. Idaho's mountains seem to be trying to escape the planet long before it. Once farmland, southern Idaho was shaped by apocalyptic Ice Age floods. Glacial Lake Idaho broke loose again and again, sending walls of water roaring down the Snake River Plain at highway speeds. The water tore basalt cliffs, carved canyons, and blasted out valleys in days, not millennia. Idaho is a fossil of hydrologic violence. Idaho's Big Lost River literally vanishes underground, slipping into volcanic cracks like a ghost. Whole sections disappear beneath basalt, traveling inside ancient lava tubes before re-emerging miles away. Hydrologists call it one of the strangest river systems in the West. In Idaho, even rivers don't follow rules. The lake sits at 6,547 feet, surrounded by dagger-like granite peaks. In winter, the lake develops breathing holes, perfect circles where warm geothermal pockets rise and melt through the ice. From above, it looks like a frost-covered planet pulsing with life, a lake with its own heartbeat. Fact 41, Idaho has fjords. Yes, fjord-like scenery. At Priest Lake, deep glacial troughs, sheer cliffs, and drowned valleys form landscapes that look straight out of Norway. It's called Idaho's fjord country, and on foggy mornings, it legitimately looks like Scandinavia teleported into the Pacific Northwest. Idaho isn't supposed to look like this, but it does. The lake older than civilization. The next fact Idaho's Payette Lake sits inside a glacial bowl carved more than 10,000 years ago. Its sediments contain climate records older than human agriculture. Layer by layer, the lake floor holds a written diary of Earth's past. It's a time capsule, disguised as a vacation spot. Lake Pend Oreille is so deep, 1,150 feet, that entire mountain ridges hide beneath it. Some peaks poke above the surface, forming tiny islands. You are not looking at islands, you are looking at mountaintops barely breaking through one of America's deepest lakes. Pend Oreille is the Swiss Alps, drowned, no ocean, no coast. So, why does the United States Navy operate its top submarine research station in Idaho? Because Lake Pend Oreille is deeper than parts of the Pacific. Pitch black, eerily quiet, and shaped like an acoustic laboratory. The Navy tests submarine sonar here because the lake mimics the deep sea. Idaho is landlocked but still helps build submarines. The sawtooths act like a blade dividing Idaho's climate. Storms smash into their west side, dumping snow. On the east side, dry skies, clear, cold air, a different world. The sawtooths aren't a mountain range, they are a weather wall. The Lost River Range features razor ridges, 1,000-foot cliffs, and icy blue cirques. Their jagged skyline looks more European than American. Photographers actually compare it to the Dolomites and the Bernese Alps. It's Idaho's best-kept secret. As the Yellowstone hotspot torched its way across Idaho, it left behind oceans of basalt. When the Snake River cut through, it sliced the lava fields into walls of black volcanic stone tower hundreds of feet high. Idaho's canyon walls are scars of Earth's deepest hellfire. The Lava Creek Tuff eruption left behind a gigantic depression across southeastern Idaho, a collapsed volcanic chamber so large you can drive across it without noticing. A supervolcano crater, hiding in plain sight. Shoshone Falls, nicknamed the Niagara of the West, drops 212 feet, 44 feet taller than Niagara Falls. In spring, its roar shakes the canyon. In summer, the flows turn it ghostly and ethereal. It is one of the most powerful waterfalls in America, and tourists barely know it exists. Southern Idaho is dry, like shockingly dry. Some regions only get 8 inches of rain a year. This high desert is a product of the Sierra Nevada and the Cascades, which wring moisture from Pacific storms before they ever reach Idaho. Idaho is secretly part of the Great Basin Desert. In the Frank Church Wilderness, geothermal springs pour into icy rivers, creating clouds of steam rising between snow-covered cliffs. It looks like the river is cooking itself alive, a place where winter meets fire. Bruneau sand dunes are the tallest single-structured dunes in North America. The highest stands 470 feet tall, taller than a building with 45 stories. And they don't migrate like normal dunes. They stay put, trapped by a natural basin. A skyscraper made of sand. Bruneau Canyon's basalt walls are shaped in such a way that echoes crack like explosions. Yell loud enough and it sounds like the canyon fires the shout back at you like artillery. Nature's amplifier. Idaho actually has geysers, including the Soda Springs Geyser, which erupts every hour on the hour thanks to a man-made pressure valve tapping an underground carbonated aquifer. It's like Old Faithful's smaller, stranger cousin. The Wappi lava field hides possible evidence of ancient impacts where molten lava splashed into bizarre ripple patterns. It is so alien that NASA uses satellite imagery to compare it to Martian features. Idaho looks more like Mars than parts of Arizona. In 1959, the Hebgen Lake quake formed Quake Lake and forced a river to carve a new path over fresh rubble. What followed was a roaring newborn waterfall rips through mountain debris. Earthquakes reshape Idaho's map, literally. The Snake River carved canyons where basalt columns rise like organ pipes. Rivers usually meander, but the Snake cuts straight down as if it uses a laser. Idaho is a cathedral built by erosion. Lake Coeur d'Alene has cold water whirlpools formed. By underwater rock shelves and rising currents, boats vanish into pockets of fog in the early morning. It's beautiful, eerie, and life-threatening all at once, a lake with moods. The Bear Trap Cave lava tube stretches over 15 miles, one of the longest in the United States. Idaho has underground highways, made of fire. During the time of the Western Interior Seaway, Idaho sat at the edge of a shallow ocean. Marine fossils, including ammonites and ancient seabed ripples, still hide in the mountains. Once upon a time, Idaho had a beach. The glacial lakes of the Sawtooths glow with unreal turquoise due to rock flour, tiny particles suspended in meltwater that scatter blue wavelengths of light. They look photoshopped. They aren't. Deep in the Salmon River Canyon are geothermal caves warmed by volcanic heat. Snowstorms rage outside while steam fills the cave interior. A winter sauna built by the Earth. On Henry's Lake, floating mats of peat and vegetation form drifting islands pushed by wind. Some are big enough to support trees. A forest that migrates. Much of Idaho's desert is coated in Lake Bonneville silt, remnants of a massive prehistoric lake that once dwarfed the Great Salt Lake. When the lake catastrophically drained, it carved canyons and buried Idaho in fine clay. Idaho carries the scars of a vanished sea. The Sawtooths didn't get their name by accident. These granite peaks were carved by glaciers into serrated blades of stone. Their skyline is so sharp, early pioneers thought the mountains were impassable. Nature's razor edge. City of Rocks in southern Idaho is a granite maze where sound bounces between monoliths like a natural surround sound system. Shouts echo around corners. Whispers travel frighteningly far. A stone city that speaks. The Bruneau-Jarbidge River Canyon cuts deep into the landscape. A narrow slit through basalt, so deep and tight you cannot see the bottom from certain angles. It is home to species found nowhere else on Earth. Idaho shelters biological secrets inside volcanic woodlands. Idaho's Goldbug Hot Springs cascades over cliffs, creating natural infinity pools overlooking the Lemhi Mountains. In winters, steam rises from the snow like a dream. It is a volcanic waterfall you can sit in. Pando Real Lake was so deep that early survey equipment failed to map its floor. Even today, parts of the lake drop into pitch-black trenches that remain largely unexplored. Idaho has its own abyss, the Seven Devils. Idaho's Snake River Plain is a 400-mile highway of black basalt, created by repeated supervolcano eruptions. Flying over it looks like staring at the cooled surface of a dead star, a volcanic wasteland stretching across the state. Redfish Lake sits behind a natural dam created when a landslide blocked a valley thousands of years ago. Nature built its own reservoir, a lake born of disaster. Some Idaho dunes produce a haunting hum when sand slides, a low bass vibration that sounds like a singing bowl. A desert that sings. The Intermountain Seismic Belt runs straight through Idaho, connecting to faults in Utah, Montana, and Wyoming. It's one of the most active seismic zones in the West. The ground is alive. The Lost River Range is not slowly rising. It broke violently. Massive normal faults tilted whole mountains, raising one side while dropping the other. Idaho's mountains were born in that violence. Freefall. Craters of the Moon contains lava tubes filled with permanent ice, even in summer. Volcanic rock insulates trapped winter cold, creating natural subterranean glaciers. Fire above, ice below. Idaho is a contradiction. Every major caldera between Boise and Yellowstone marks another catastrophic eruption, 11 giant craters in a row. Each one a blast zone that once dwarfed anything in recorded history. Idaho is literally a chain of ancient doomsdays. The Middle Fork salmon carved a canyon through granite so hard, geologists still debate how fast it cut. Some say water alone couldn't do it. Others blame tectonic uplift turbocharging. Erosion. It is a geological argument carved into the earth. The Snake River Plain, the Yellowstone hotspot track, is the most violent volcanic scar in North America. It produced continent-shaking explosions, oceans of lava, collapsing calderas, mass extinction events, and the modern Yellowstone supervolcano. Idaho is the smoking gun of Earth's most catastrophic volcanic engine. Pando Real was so deep that early survey equipment failed to map its floor. Even today, parts of the lake drop into pitch-black trenches that remain largely unexplored. Idaho has its own abyss. The Seven Devils Range rises straight out of Hell's Canyon, like a shattered volcanic tooth. Legends say the mountains were once one solid block, until the canyon ripped them apart. Geology or mythology? In Idaho, it's both. Idaho's Snake River Plain is a 400-mile highway of black basalt created by repeated supervolcano eruptions. Flying over it looks like staring at the cooled surface of a dead star. Craters of the Moon contains lava tubes filled with permanent ice, even in summer. Volcanic rock insulates trapped winter cold, creating natural subterranean glaciers. Fire above, ice below. Idaho is a contradiction. Every major caldera between Boise and Yellowstone marks another catastrophic eruption, 11 giant craters in a row. Each one tells a story of sudden, violent change. It was once a blast zone that dwarfed anything in recorded history. Idaho is literally a chain of ancient doomsdays. The Middle Fork salmon carved a canyon through granite so hard, geologists still debate how fast it cut. Some say water alone could not have done it. Others blame tectonic uplift, turbocharging erosion. It is a geological argument carved into the earth. The Snake River Plain and the Yellowstone hotspot tracked together form the most violent volcanic scar in North America. It produced continent-shaking explosions, oceans of lava, collapsing calderas, mass extinction events, and the modern Yellowstone supervolcano. Idaho is the smoking gun of Earth's most catastrophic volcanic activity. Idaho is a land forged by fire, carved by floods, shaken by quakes, and guarded by mountains that look older than time. Mountains usually erode. Idaho's mountains try to escape the planet. Long before it was farmland, southern Idaho was shaped by apocalyptic Ice Age floods. Glacial Lake Idaho broke loose again and again, sending walls of water roaring down the Snake River Plain at highway speeds. The water tore basalt cliffs, carved canyons, and blasted out valleys in days, not millennia. Idaho is a fossil of hydrologic violence. Idaho's Big Lost River literally vanishes underground, slipping into volcanic cracks like a ghost. Whole sections disappear beneath basalt, traveling inside ancient lava tubes before re-emerging miles away. Hydrologists call it one of the strangest river systems in the West. The Snake River Plain and the Yellowstone hotspot track form the most violent volcanic scar in North America. It produced continent-shaking explosions, oceans of lava, collapsing calderas, mass extinction events, and the modern Yellowstone supervolcano. Idaho is the smoking gun of Earth's most catastrophic volcanic engine.